Hello, this is the Ultimate Fan Chat. Once again, we're back, and this time we're gonna be discussing UFC Fight Night Shogun versus Smith. Okie dokie. So today we're only two men deep. Unfortunately, we had some technical difficulties. We couldn't get Dan's camera to work correctly, so we're just gonna have to do two people. But don't worry, handsome Dan Park will be back. We'll be back in the next one, so it's all good. All you fangirls out there, don't get too upset. Anyways. I'm Chris, as always, and we've got Pretty Pete in the bottom left-hand corner.
Howdy.
Howdy, howdy. All right, so let's talk about this. Are we going to start from the top, or do you want to start from... We're not going to talk about all the fights, because you got a whole bunch of... It's a fight night, so there's a whole bunch of prelim fights that we just don't know a great deal of the people on there, so we're just not going to bother talking about them for this chat. Plus, we want to keep it very short.
Up to you. What do you want to start with? Let's start with...
We'll start with the heavyweights. We'll go from Marcin Tybura versus Stefan Struve. I'll let you start this one off.
Alrighty. A fun fight, first of all. I think both bring a interesting style. They're both sort of stand-up fighters, predominantly. Heavy hitters as well. Both in desperate need of a victory. So that's what's got me slightly concerned that this might not be as interesting as their styles would allow for. Both guys coming off 2 losses in a row. Both guys need a win to sort of stay in the mix at heavyweight. Not so much Tabura. It's more so Struve that's got me slightly concerned with this one. He has the propensity to be in very boring fights. Now, whether or not that's from his choosing or from his opponent's choosing, regardless, he's still in some very boring fights. I wouldn't put it past him in this fight to be very takedown heavy. Tabura offers quite a threat on the feet. He's got sharp kickboxing. He's very heavy-handed and kicks very hard. As always with Stefan Struve fights, if he uses his reach and his physical advantages, he can most definitely win. But I think we've all sort of learned by now that, that's not the way he fights. He's either staying in the pocket with guys that are a foot shorter than him, or is shooting for takedowns and, working his jiu-jitsu, which for a guy that size and for a heavyweight is actually quite good. I think Tabura is going to take a decision in this one. That's my pick. In a less exciting fight than anticipated.
In a less exciting fight.
Less exciting than it should be, yes.
Yeah.
I think just because they so both desperately need a victory, I think it's probably going to be a case of one of those fights where guys are going out not to lose as opposed to going out to win.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say we can all be happy that this isn't a 5-round fight. Especially if that's the case.
Excuse me.
Yeah, I don't have too much to add to that. Because, Stefan Struve, he never uses his jab. So there's no point saying that he's got the reach advantage that's going to win him the fight. He's shown to be...
He could keep the Tabura on the end of the 1-2 all night long, but he's not going to. That's not the way he fights. We all know now. We're not going to kid ourselves and say, look, he's got these physical advantages. He's not going to use them.
He's shown to leave his chin out there way too much as well, so I reckon Tybura is going to finish him on the feet. Tybura's not going to want to take him down because at this point everyone knows how good Stefan Struve's guard is.
No, exactly. And much of Tabura's actually got, I think, just under 80% takedown defense, so... Yeah, I'm hoping he keeps it on her feet, and I'm hoping we get some good exchanges. I think it all depends on what Stefan Struve's able to implement. So, for one, I'm pulling for Tabura to make it an interesting fight and get the win.
It's more than likely going to look a lot like Francis Ngannou and Derek Lewis, but I think there'll still be a finish. I think Tybura is going to. Stefan Struve, he's had a few issues. He had a few hard issues. He's not. He doesn't have. He's never really been. He's been durable to a certain extent, but as soon as that chin gets touched, he normally goes out. So I reckon, same pick, Tybura, but I think it's going to be a finish, probably in the third.
I've got Tabura decision.
All right, so let's now move up to the co-main because I'm not going to talk about Vitor Miranda, whatever his name is. So now it's Glover Teixeira versus Corey Anderson. Do you mind if I'll just quickly give my pick on this?
By all means.
Well, Corey Anderson is a wrestler. He's shown to have an improvement in his striking, but predominantly he's a wrestler. When his last fight against Patrick Cummins, is that his name?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Patrick Cummins.
He out-wrestled him, and Patrick Cummins is a Olympic level wrestler, but he was able to out-wrestle him. In saying that though, Glover Teixeira, I know we've spoken about this in the past about black belts not really being black belts. Everyone's a black belt these days, but Glover Teixeira is a legitimate black belt in jiu-jitsu. He's legit.
Yeah.
Every time the fight goes to the ground, he normally gets the better of whoever he's fighting. Whether he's on his back, he finds a way to get a sweep, get on top, or not get a sweep, but at least get to his knees and work a takedown of his own, and then get on top, and then he normally gets the submission. So I think Glover's and his boxing, like he does get hit a lot, unfortunately, but I don't think Corey's got the ability to actually hit him enough to do enough damage to finish the fight. So I think Glover Teixeira is going to win this fight. Whether it's by decision or knockout, I'm not sure. I mean, whether it's by knockout or submission, I'm not sure. But I'll stick with a submission. I know I like picking rounds, so I'll pick a round. I reckon Glover normally has to wear on guys before he gets a submission, so I reckon maybe second. I'll say third. No, second. I'll stick with second. But submission second round.
I'm going similar route, but I'm going to say Glover Teixeira by knockout in the second round. Teixeira's original opponent, Ilir Latifi, who was put out injured, and Corey Anderson's replaced, a wrestler, obviously. So Teixeira's been training for a wrestler this whole camp. So I don't think... Latifi's a bit more different body shape to Corey Anderson and a lot more heavy-handed, I'd say. But predominantly, again, he's been training for a wrestler, so it doesn't alter his camp too much. With Glover Teixeira, he's sort of at that point where he beats everyone that's not at the top of the light heavyweight division. And I think it's no different in this case. He's got that sort of slow plotting style with his stand-up, but he's very crisp and he hits very hard. So I think he's going to knock out Corey Anderson round 1 or 2, but probably round 2, like you're saying, he's going to build into it. Corey Anderson, he's athletic and he's a good wrestler, but he's very wild. And technically, defensively, he's not very sound. So I think give Glover a round or so to sort of find his range, gauge the distance, and I think he's putting Corey Anderson to sleep.
One thing that actually makes your pick make a little bit more sense than mine as well is that Corey Anderson is shown to be very chinny. Very chinny.
Apart from the Cummins loss, he got knocked out badly by OSP and Jimmy Manoa in the 2 fights previous. So I think it's happening again, unfortunately.
When he fought Shogun, he got knocked down at the end of the first and second round. And Tom Lawler, in that win, he managed to get knocked down a couple of times in that fight too. So
he's not very defensively sound on the feet.
No, not.
He's got the physical tools, but just not the technical tools in the stand-up.
Only reason I think it's going to be a submission victory is because I think Corey at this point knows that. So he's going to try and work the wrestling. He's going to trust that his wrestling and his ground ability is going to be enough to stop him from being submitted. But I just don't think it will be, and I think Glover's going to get the better of him. Especially because against Shogun managed to defend a lot of Corey Anderson's wrestling. So just don't
take down attempts, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think Corey's going to be able to pull this one out.
Nah.
All right, so those are our picks. So let's move to the main event: Shogun Rua versus Anthony Smith.
Hey, my all-time favorite number 1.
The legend.
Shogun.
The legend.
Shogun number 1. Just a little bit about the fight. If you look at it at face value, Shogun's run particularly, it's his first multiple sort of win streak in years. But if you dig a little bit deeper, it's not very flattering, should I say. His last 3 fights, the 3-fight win streak, he knocked out John Vellante. Okay. Split decision, Corey Anderson, and unanimous decision against Little Nog. All decent wins in their own right. But if you look, excuse me, at the timings of the fights, he beat John Vellante in 2017, he beat Anderson in 2016, and he beat Little Nog in 2015. He's had 3 fights in 3 years. This will be fight number 4 in 4 years. So, yeah, it's a 3-fight win streak. He's propelling himself up the light heavyweight division, which is extremely shallow at the moment. But, I think he's definitely benefiting from a shallow light heavyweight division. Both of them are. Anthony Smith and Shogun Rua both. Shogun's number 8 ranked, Anthony Smith unranked, but with a victory here, both guys propel themselves up a very, very, very shallow light heavyweight division. I mean, realistically, Shogun with a win here could see himself fighting for the title, which is shocking, honestly.
But
shocking.
awesome. Shocking, but awesome.
I'm torn. I would love to watch him fight for the title, but then I don't want to watch him get beaten up by Daniel Cormier. So, yeah, I don't know. In terms of the fight itself, Anthony Smith poses a significant threat to Shogun, just based on the way the Shogun's sort of aged in the fight game. He's not old by any means, but just in terms of mileage on a clock, he's quite aged. He's the speed and the power he used to bring. He's still got the power, but the speed's not there anymore. He drags his feet as he lunges forward with the power shots now. Defense is almost non-existent. It's highly likely it's going to turn into a firefight. I just hope Shogun's chin can hold up and he's able to sting Anthony Smith with something early, because, I want him to get revenge for Anthony Smith knocking out Rashad Evans. So hopefully he doesn't take out another legend this weekend.
All right, so you're hoping that Shogun's going to win, but who do you think will actually win? Like, if you had to actually put money on this, like a lot of money, and you wanted to win that money, who would you be putting it on? Who do you think has the most likely chance to win this fight?
I think Anthony Smith is going to stop him.
Fair enough. Do you reckon it's going to be early, late, knockout, submission?
Early. The longer it goes, I feel, in this fight, probably the better for Shogun. Especially if he can sort of implement his grappling and whatnot in this fight. I think the main concern is him not to get caught cold. What I mean is not to get caught early. He needs a chance to warm up to the fight, get in the right frame of mind, and the longer it goes, I think actually the better for Shogun. Probably he's got the experience over Anthony Smith, and Anthony Smith, it's not like he's been on a tear lately either. He knocked out Rashad Evans, but the fight before that he was stopped by Thiago Santos. So I mean, it's a winnable fight for Shogun. It's probably looks a little bit scarier than it is because of what Anthony Smith did to Rashad Evans in his last fight. But yeah, as long as I think Shogun's going to get caught cold early, but if he doesn't, I think he's got quite a decent chance of winning this fight.
Fair enough. Oh, yeah. I love Shogun. It's taken me a while to warm up to Shogun, because when he first came in and he fought Forrest Griffin, I was a huge Forrest Griffin fan, and everyone was counting him out. And I'm like, what? Who is this Shogun guy? Because at that point, I didn't have Fight Pass. I couldn't go and look up all these fights. I saw like fights here and there, and the only one that I saw was him getting taken down by Mark Coleman and breaking his arm.
Yeah.
So I was like, who is this Shogun guy? But now that I've gone back and watched all his videos, I'm quite a big fan. But my thing on Shogun has always been that he's kind of overrated, and his record in the UFC kind of show that. But in saying that, I went back and I watched his Pride fights. I feel like it just took him a while to get used to the bigger octagon, like the octagon itself. Because and especially the rules as well, because a lot of his fights in Pride came via soccer kicks and stomps. His first 4 fights in Pride came via soccer kicks and stomps. So I see that, but if you watch his earlier, not so much the real early fights in the UFC, but if you watch, for example, his fights against Machida, that was even a fight against Chakra. Those were the only fights where I thought he looked great.
Well, that's the movement he offered in those fights was not what it was in the Pride days, but he still had that sort of athleticism to him. I think just the consistent problems he's had with the injuries has just really slowed him down. And like I've said in previous episodes, it's not so much the age of the guys, it's the miles on the clock. You know, he's been fighting competitively at top level since like 22, 23 years old. And, you know, growing up in the shooter box gym and the gym wars they have and everything like that, it just puts miles on the clock. And just, I think it's just his body's just worn out. That's all, I believe. I don't think he's overrated. I don't think he's overrated. It's just unfortunate that the injuries have taken such a toll on him. But I mean,
that was my initial impression of Shogun when he first came in, because I hadn't seen all his Pride fights. My initial impression was that he was overrated, because he came in, lost to Forrest Griffin, then he barely beat Mark Coleman.
And that's the thing, the Forrest Griffin loss followed. I'm pretty sure he had a knee surgery just before that. So if you look at
any excuses, I heard enough excuses.
No, excuse me. If you watch him, the fight after an injury, he always comes back terrible. The John Jones fight, how bad did he look in that fight? I mean, Granted, it was John Jones, and John Jones probably would have beat him anyway. But he looked terrible in that fight. He looked absolutely horrible. Every time he came back from injury, he looked terrible. And just now, like you watch, even against John Vellante, he just plods forward, and it's like his feet are glued to the canvas, and he just, sort of glides through the mud. I guess he's just so slow now.
He is slow, but with Okay, so I'll go back to the fight. I'll just give you my opinion on his career, but on the fight, so Anthony Smith, I watched his fight against Hector Lombard. Against Hector Lombard, he's not known as a kicker yet. He's known as he's got heavy hands. He's got some judo that he never uses, he's got a lot of judo that he never uses. But he's mostly a puncher. He throws heavy hands. He doesn't really throw a jab. But he was getting picked. Anthony Smith was getting picked apart by a guy like Hector Lombard at that stage of Hector Lombard's career by a lot of leg kicks, a lot of body kicks, and not many punches. So I know I have the feeling that if someone like that can pick apart Smith, Shogun shouldn't have that hard of a time. Even at this point in his career, he shouldn't have that hard of a time throwing some powerful leg kicks, because those leg kicks that Hector Lombard threw messed up Smith's leg. Like he was plodding along. By the second round, he was struggling a bit. It wasn't until the third round came along that he gained some momentum, and he must have just blocked the sore leg, like in his head, and he managed to land a right hand. So
I think Shogun can get offense in. It's just his defense. Anthony Smith's big and long. I'm pretty sure he's the same reach. He's just got a height advantage. But
and I think Shogun's 6'1".
I have no confidence in Shogun's chin or defense anymore.
Yeah. So there's a 3-inch height variety between the two of them. But no, I still think that Shogun's still reasonably durable. If Dan Henderson clips you, of course you're going out. And against OSP, he kind of ran into that punch, and he was like against the cage. There wasn't much room to move.
Fought cold again, like I was saying before. So hopefully that's this fight.
And Chell choked him, and I mean, who expects that?
Chell rocked him first and then choked him.
Did he? I don't remember that.
I'm pretty certain he stung him on the feet.
But in saying that, in that fight, Shogun was out wrestling him.
Yeah.
He was out wrestling Chell. And against Dan Henderson, he out wrestled Dan Henderson in moments in both their fights.
True. That's true. It's going to be interesting to see if he implements the grappling game in this fight.
Yeah. Well, I think Shogun. Originally, when I saw this fight, I'm like, oh no, Shogun's getting knocked out. That was my immediate thought. I'm like, oh no. Any fight that gets mentioned, I always think, oh no, Shogun's getting knocked out. I'm scared for his health at this stage.
Me too.
Especially because he only fights once a year. But I feel like that fighting once a year is also helping him in terms of recovery from injuries. So I
can see that.
And that Corey Anderson fight, that wasn't a split decision. How was it that close? He won round 1 and 2 easily.
Judges.
Yeah, weird. Oh, at least got the win. But it's.
Anyways,
it wasn't as close as it seems.
Speaking of Pride Legends, I've got to sort of backtrack on a statement I made the other week about Anderson being a cheater. The drug ban overturned, so he's allowed to fight from October. So I don't know why he's still going to serve that 1 year, but yeah, he should be back before the end of the year.
That's what USADA does. USADA, they do that with everyone. They say, okay, well, even though... Well, I think it's also because... no,
I know why it is. Because it was a contaminated substance, but it's still, he's still got that duty of care to know what he's putting in his body.
Well,
so I think that's why they get that 1 year.
The stuff was still in his system. Whether or not he meant to put it there, it was still in his system. Even though...
just sort of
these contaminated supplements.
Supplements, yep.
Isn't there a list of supplements they can take? I mean, all these supplements are the same thing. It doesn't matter what brand that you take.
There is, but I think where the issue comes from, they make all this stuff
especially if
in China, right?
If you're buying these things from Brazil, you should know better.
Well, that's the thing though. They make all these things in the same factories. Who knows what they make in one tub and what they make in another tub, and it all just gets contaminated in the vats of fucking shit that they make.
No, I completely understand that, but with Anderson Silva, both these two drug testing failed, he's been using the excuse of, oh, I bought this supplement in Brazil. Why are you buying supplements in Brazil?
He trusts. He wants to support the local Brazilian economy.
You live in America. Your kids go to America. You bought an American house. All your finances go to America. You're not supporting a country by buying $100 fucking protein powder from them.
Who knows? Who knows?
From Brazil. He's not stupid either. He wouldn't be considered the GOAT for so long if he was stupid. So
True.
So I don't know. I'm still a bit sketchy on this. This vindication or whatever you want to call it. I want to believe in Anderson Silva because he was such a great.
Still not vindicated for the first one, though.
No, but he was saying that was from sex pills.
Yeah.
Because he couldn't get freaky with his wife.
Oh, jeez. And then John Jones used the same excuse.
Yeah, which that John Jones one, even though a lot of people are saying, oh, he took those dick pills. Once again, he bought those dick pills from the same company that sells the testosterone and whatever that he got busted for. And on the receipt that he showed to them, saying, oh, look, see, I've got a receipt for these dick pills. On the same receipt, there was that drug that he failed for. So he was ordering the stuff separately, but for whatever reason they didn't care. That was weird. I know. I watched a video on this YouTube channel called Molly Whoppery, and he brings out the best fucking videos. But he went through it in great detail, and it was kind of weird. It's like, oh wow. So even though they kind of said, oh no, yeah, you took these pills did have what you say that they had in them.
Yeah. Yeah, you still actually take it, or you still ingested it, so you got to get banned.
He still took the supplement separately, as opposed to just taking those pills.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's weird. It's very weird. I always thought John Jones and Anderson Silva, they were like definitely clean, 100% clean. But another thing about Anderson Silva's career, he started his UFC career off at like when he was 31. So like he's just been getting better and better after 30.
I see that's the thing. That's the same sort of thing I'm saying. Like he didn't hit the peak and fight the top guys till he was in his 30s. So that's why he's got that longevity. If he was like Shogun fighting top guys at 22, 23, he would have been done by early 30s.
True. That first Dan Henderson fight, man, that took years off his career. Jeez, that was crazy. But in Pride, he kind of just destroyed guys. I think Little Nog was the only one to give him a real fight. Everyone else, he just walked through. Oh wait,
prime, I guess.
Renato Sobral, he choked him out, but I assume he was probably kicking his ass prior to that. So yeah, was there any other news that came out recently? Is that it?
Pretty sure that's all. That's all the sort of breaking stuff.
Sorry to any of the 3 people that are watching this. We're not as prepared as we normally would be because we just had so many difficulties trying to get this video going, but we got it going. So
it's been a tough one.
It has been a tough one. And Dan, if you end up watching this, one of the 3 people, you better come back. You better sort your camera out for the next time because we need you in this. All right.
Yes, we'll be doing a post-fight show on after this card, so that'll be back to normal programming.
Monday morning card, 4 o'clock in the frickin' morning. Are you gonna be watching that? Are you gonna wake up at 3 to watch this card?
Nah, I'm gonna record it and watch it when I wake up.
Yeah, I'll have to watch it after work on that Monday. Give a lot of time, hopefully.
Hopefully, Shogun wins.
Yeah, Shogun's gonna win. He's gonna win. He's gonna win via knockout or TKO in the 3rd or 4th round. Similar to what Similar to what he did to Brandon Vera.
Hopefully.
He's just gonna pick him apart, and it's gonna be like, oh look, Smith, he's going really, really well. He might win this, but no, he won't.
No, he won't. That's it. Do it for the legends.
Yeah. Oh, I think that's the only different pick that we had. The other two are the exact same.
We'll see if you keep your perfect record.
Yes, I've got the best record from the one card that we predicted so far, haven't I?
You do.
Okay, let's see if I keep that. Probably not. No, I will, because Shogun's going to win. That's all good.
Yes.
Anyways, thank you anyone that's listening. If you like this video, make sure you either share, subscribe, press the little like button, press the little bell button next to the subscribe button so that you get the notifications. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Yeah, do all that good stuff. We'll be very thankful. Do you want to say anything else before we leave, Peter?
That's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Peace out.